Welcome to Curious Coach, aha moments for coaches. This space is to document and share insights and revelations about the craft, the art, and the profession of coaching. I'm Tiffany Dideau, a master certified coach, certified professional resume writer, and the founder of Sacred Time. As a career coach and guide, I see myself as a light in dark places, so I may illuminate some topics for you because it's important to me that you identify and master your own coach approach. This isn't just a podcast. It's a place to walk with insight, sit with questions, and to follow the thread of what calls us into deeper knowing.
Hello. On this episode, I didn't expect to do part 2 of lessons in coaching from nurses, but I had another experience that of course made me think of how to be a better coach or why I coach in the way that I do. So I kind of want to walk you through what happened and then pinpoint how this relates to coaching. So starting off with what happened, as you may or may not have known from this last episode, I did have a medical event, ended up in the ER, and by the end of everything, long story short, I was put on insulin. So in the course of all of that, I met many healthcare professionals, renewed my faith in humanity in a lot of cases, learned about advocacy, but then had the opportunity to finally see my doctor, meet the staff around there, get help from a nurse on how to prick my finger without it hurting, and then start sharing my numbers so that they can in real time kind of speak into my experience and help me manage this situation. And what's fascinating is everybody called themselves trying to make it easier. And this is a setup for the story, right? So the ER got me started. That team got me started. My doctor was like, well, that's a complicated situation. Let me simplify it. So he just made my insulin numbers, like he brought them down to like even numbers. But I'd already memorized everything. So I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, that's simplified. So we did that. But then couple days later, like 2 days later, the new nurse on duty calls me and then she takes him down to like some not even numbers. It's just, but it was like a lot of change all at once. Super frustrated. I was like, okay, that's a thing. I'm trying to eat and not and stay in range. I'm eating healthier than I've had in years. And that's its own journey. And here we go. And so I finally get to this time with my assigned nurse, and I'm at a battle I'm pretty sure I cursed out all my monitoring devices. I thought that they were wrong, and if they don't talk back, so I went to my favorite AI, and I was like, this is what's happening, and da-da-da-da-da, because, don't want to yell at a human at this point. So we get to this point, and the nurse, my actual assigned nurse is sick, and this other person calls in and says, hey, call me back. I'll just be, talking with you today to fill in for your nurse. And the first question she asks me is, how did we get here? I'm looking at your numbers, and last year you weren't on insulin. You were stable and, maintaining where you were at, which is good. And then all of a sudden you get all of that and the kitchen sink thrown at you. I was like, thank you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for how you described it, like all the things. And then she proceeded over the course of what should have been a 30-minute conversation, maybe 45, was a 90-minute conversation, bless her heart. And so we walked through and she's explaining to me, you can't have all these lows. The insulin is driving it down. You got too much in your system. She explains how that affects the brain, and it actually all makes sense. And so I feel like I understand. I'm realizing in this moment, that's what she gave that nobody else gave. She made it all make sense in terms that I could understand And remember, she had case studies. So, so she was walking me through somebody who didn't have access to a kitchen or a fridge and had nothing but fast food. She's like, yeah, we had 5 chains of fast food to work through. So we figured out what could be eaten and all of this stuff. And so she had specific case studies that were relevant to me. The duty nurse gave me a case study of go get glucose pills and stash them everywhere you have reading glasses. Well, I'm not at the age where I've got reading glasses in every nook. I was like, oh, that's so cute that you said that. Okay, I'm sure it's relevant for somebody and it's clever. Like I do the same thing. So that means I need to audit my case studies when I share those examples with people. The fill-in nurse had case studies and examples, but she was pretty much like, you know what? I appreciate glucose pills, but to me, it makes me feel like I ate chalk. So I'm happy if you take juice, more power to you. So I felt like it was the most validating conversation. Yes, she agreed with me, but also, well, yeah, because she agreed with me. It's like, okay, I am not crazy and I don't have to do things this way. It's like being fit into a box that doesn't fit. And then everybody kept changing the shape of the box. And so even discovering YouTube channels like Diabetes Strong, where that person will tell you where the continuous monitoring device could be placed on your body and get accurate readings, especially if you don't want to advertise the fact that you've got a continuous monitor on. And so that there are alternatives to what is supposed to happen or the traditional way, and there's more than one way for things to happen. Absolutely what I'm about. And so helpful to be able to pick and find your way and have some kind of autonomy in all of this. Where this conversation ended with the fill-in nurse was she said, okay, we done all this stuff. We talked about all these things. So let me tell you this thing that I want to tell all my patients. You have full permission, no matter what I recommend, to tell me that won't work for you. I was like, wait, what? She's like, if you were a soccer mom and you got a couple of kids and y'all go like 5 different matches in one tournament day, and I'm telling you to do 20 shots a day of insulin and do this and do that, and it don't fit with your schedule, I'm gonna need you to tell me so that we can find a setup that does. I was like, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Turns out she has the most patience out of anybody, and I know why. Because immediately before I even got halfway through this conversation, I straight up told her, because I know how feedback is, I said, I want you to be my nurse. I've never met the other person. No offense to her. I want you. I want to be assigned to you, and I'll tell you why. You are the only one that bothered to ask me, how did we get here? No talking at me. No, like, judgment. Like she basically asked the question and it didn't feel like I was being judged. It just allowed me the chance to explain. And I was like, dang, that's some good coaching right there. That is absolutely what this is about, right? We ask the questions without having anything attached to it. And that allows the person to take it wherever they need. So no, know that the first thing to do is, I could have anybody assigned. I could have stayed the same, but I literally like quote unquote hired her in the moment because she asked that one question and she listened. It'd be different if she didn't even bother to let me finish my thoughts. Um, and so that alone, like, not only helped me feel seen and helped me feel heard, it gave me a newfound respect for asking that question. Because sometimes, not even sometimes, early on, there's that process where we ask, um, what makes now the important time for this change to occur or for you to engage in coaching? So that's part of some of the onboarding questions I've heard asked and I've asked. And so that's the same thing. It's the same thing, and I now hear I feel how important that question is. What makes now the time? How did we get here? That helped me in so many ways. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you. I was so excited. I could not stop texting everybody. Oh my God, this nurse. Da, 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 da. So, so I absolutely appreciate her, and I will be nominating her for whatever accolades I can, nurses get. So we we went through that question. I was able to share, and then she did something I also felt nobody else did. She looked at the bigger picture context. She's like, last year you were stable. This year, things like went off the cliff. You like Thelma and Louise did. My words, not hers. And so like um that tells me that maybe this was too far of a pendulum swing. So there was that big picture context that also helped me feel seen, but also made it so that, like, I don't think anybody, a part of why I didn't feel heard is because everybody took the numbers they saw. They just relied on the data and just decided and then told me. And I think that was the piece. So she's explaining what she's seeing and what she's thinking, and that eventually led up to the changes in my prescription. But that I felt she accounted for circumstance, situation, and my context was so key. Not just, and so she did zoom out as opposed to zoom in. Like, it wasn't like I had another change every 2 days in my insulin levels. So she not only did that, that would be the equivalent, I would say, of meeting me where I was as well. Because not only did I get to explain how I got here, my rationale, my thinking, and then also she got to explain some things. So it wasn't what I ate that triggered all these things. There was a lot of different circumstances. No one thing contributed to it. So I think on some level that helped me release, not even I think, I know on some level that helped me to release the guilt for I shouldn't have ate that thing. I shouldn't have done that thing. I should have realized that this was a symptom. I should have told somebody that I was having foggy brain and there was no earthly reason why that made sense. So I should just talk to somebody. And it was just all okay. We're here now. And she walked me through it. And so that I just felt met. So not only seen, heard, and now met, she also said the quiet part out loud for me, which is I was thinking that, my doctor even praised me for maintaining my numbers last year. So I could get back there. And that's literally what she said without me having to say it. So that she saw it too felt validating and helped me feel more like I could, which is fascinating because I'm pretty sure I cursed out my AI in the morning and said that whatever my numbers don't hit the mark, you fail. So me and AI, he still talks to me. It's good. I call him a he. It's fascinating. Uh, so that I'd work this out with an AI is a topic for another day, but that I had this exchange with a human that got it was just absolutely worth talking about, in my opinion. So she said the quiet part out loud, and then she basically recognized not only was it too much insulin, which everybody said every time I talked to them since I left the ER, instead of just removing 2 doses a day or a meal of insulin, everybody just dropped it down by 2, dropped it down by 4, whatever. She stripped it all the way back. She says, I think you got too much. All of these numbers say that you got too much. So we're going to pull back. We're going to change when you dose. Nobody bothered to ask me what my routine was to figure out that when I gave myself the insulin also mattered. So there's a 24-hour one that I was using at the end of, like, right before going to bed because I think that's what I remember from the ER. Nope, she's like, do that in the morning. Do that first thing in the morning. You got it. It will cover you. And then because I'm also a coach. She went to tell me how to do the fast acting insulin, where you would dose that for every meal. And what was interesting is because she said something, I kind of heard a stop, and then she went into she basically halved the dose. So for those who actually inject insulin, because with the amount of patients that they're seeing and all the people that were in the ER with me, there's quite a few of us. Oh my God. So she said, so I would give myself the fast acting insulin, and I was down to 8 clicks, I call them. She halved it to 4. And I said, I did hear that you were going to say something else. I got a feeling like you were going to experiment. My coach came out right there. She says, yeah, I still feel like you have too much insulin, and I think your body needs to reset, especially your liver. So, yeah, why don't you just take 3 days off from the fast acting and let's see where your numbers are. And so between me as a coach, and this is what I love about coaching, is listening on all the levels, right? It's what got said. It's what didn't get said. It is the big picture zoom out. It's all the things you know to do to get the different perspective so that you can make an informed choice. And that's the impact for the client. There's nothing greater, because in the rest of life, I wasn't feeling seen, I wasn't feeling heard, and I wasn't feeling met. One person made a difference with one question. Game changer. Hired her on the spot, right? So consider that not just as you build your business, accept a referral, or talk to somebody who could be a client with you. But there's an opportunity for you to just change the life and trajectory of somebody who might be having a bad day. So this is not even just for coaches. This is recognizing the human in the situation. And that is part of my commitment, especially for this year in the chaos of whatever this life is dealing all of us right now, because of the onslaught of AI and all the time I know I spend talking to them and working with them and upgrading my business with them. I also want to make time for other humans and to just ask that question, how are you doing? And mean it. So all of that to say, wow, what a powerful moment of coaching. Whether or not she knows she was doing it, I felt the impact, and I hope you do too. So I invite you to notice any practitioner you come in contact with. How do they make you feel? How does that inform your coaching? I would love for you to drop me a line and let me know. Until next time.
So what's next? Well, for 2026, we deem this the year of mastery. So you could join us in one of 3 ways, or all 3 if you so choose. The first way is with career coach training. This will be our way of helping you to focus on mastering your own coach approach. We'll do that through peer coaching and tips and tricks from me, Tiffany, a master certified coach. This program is going to be for a total of 22 CCEs. If you're in the ICF, that is more than half of what you need to renew your credential. The second way I'm going to help you is with the Career Coach Mastermind. In this monthly group session, we're going to dig into different topics. It'll be part book club, part podcast, but all about coaching, our craft, and what we're learning. The third way you can join me is with Deepen Your Roots. This is a way for you to dig deep so that you can aim high in this next year. I will be joined by Mother Nature because I will be going back to my roots with some nature-based coaching techniques. I'll be joined with Nicole Venner, the intuitive executive coach that will help you to trust yourself, and Gail Whipple, the leadership coach for creatives who are in the process of exploring what's next. Join us for a year of mastery where you can create the space to grow in community to position your brand for what's next. Your partner in change, Sacred Time.